What's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto the channel. So, as always, starting off with the match stats. So, in this game, we had 57% possession. We had only 5 shots against 10 from the opposition. We were playing a friendly against another team, ARES. You know, they are a tough opposition that have like a full 11 team as well. So it was a great little matchup against them, and you know, in general, we did play very well. You know, we did win the game as well. You know, my ratings overall were 7.1. I had 3 possessions won and 1 lost. I made a bit of a dumb, let's say, possession lost. And then I made 1 tackle, 100% accuracy on that. So, you know, a great performance from the team in general. We were pressing as much as we could. You know, it was a great performance. You know, it could have been more than the scoreline that was showing for both teams. But yeah, sit back and enjoy, let's say, a full 11 versus 11 match, or full team, close to full team as possible. You know, it's a really good match to enjoy as well. So yeah. So moving on, like, to the general agenda, let's say, for today's video. So, you know, we've got the Nations League. I was watching the Germany versus, you know, the Italy game. But there was more going on in the England versus Hungary game. You know, England were playing at home at Wolves Stadium. I didn't watch the game, I just watched the highlights. But, of course, because we're in the same, let's say, table within this Nations League, I'm a German supporter as such. So we've got Germany, we've got Italy, we've got England and Hungary. And it's very surprising how the tables turned up, because I always thought that, you know, Hungary would be at the bottom of the table in this Nations League, because it's like a group of death, don't get me wrong. It's a very tough international team table. And you've got the likes of Hungary being at the top of the league, which is, you know, it's great to them. You know, I've mentioned it before, these type of teams are always hard to play against. You know, you've got the likes of like Austria, Denmark, you've got Switzerland, you've got Hungary, and that little belt of clubs where they always do well when they're like very much as an underdog team, and they're always like, they just show their passion whenever they play. So touche to Hungary, especially as they've beaten England both home and away. You know, they did beat England at home 1-0, and now they've beaten them this time, you know, in England's own ground 4-0, which is absolutely insane. And the thing is, it was coming for England, because they've always had the easiest routes to all of these like big, let's say, tournaments. So for example, like the Euros, the World Cup, for example, have you seen the table? It's just so easy for them, and even the route to the qualifiers was so easy for England. And the media, and that's something that I don't like about the English media, they overhype the English players and the English national team so much. Like, they overhype it so much, it's coming home and all this malarkey. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I know it's great, like, banter-wise or whatever the case is, but they're really bad as a national team. Like, I've always said it, I don't understand why Kane plays as a deep, let's say, striker. He's an out-for-out centre-forward. He should be playing up front. I don't know why he goes back as if he's like a Firmino, you know, going like as a, like a deep playing attacker. I just don't understand why Kane does that. You know, overall, the play that the English team were doing, it's very defensive. They were just passing around, like, they weren't making any movements. You got the Hungarians that were like doing majority of like the pressing. They played some really good football. Plus, they scored some really boom goals as well. Like, don't get me wrong, Hungary, you know, played a fantastic game. It's not that they were a bad opposition against England, and England were having, let's say, a bad day, but generally, like, Hungary were phenomenal from, again, the highlights that I was watching. And you know, it's good to see that they are performing well, but they are at the top of the table. And then you've got the likes of Germany being second, Italy being third, and then of course England without a win at the moment, you know, being rock bottom with 2 points. So no, it's a great table. And yeah, I think, again, with the English hype, I do hope, like, it's never going to happen, but the media, you know, slows down on it. You know, the English team, you know, they try to be as political as possible, especially with Southgate. All this, like, what, you know, the knee on the ground and all this as well, it doesn't do much. Like, come on, man. Like, it's been going on forever. Like, things haven't changed, so just get up and just get on with the job. Like, instead, you know, you're on both knees against Hungary because you're getting dealt with and just getting smacked on your asses. You know, that's the case that they were facing for the game against Hungary. So, you know, now they got against the likes of Italy and Germany still to play against. You know, it's going to be tough opposition. Italy versus Germany, like, we'll talk about that now. You know, Italy did make over, I think they said many changes. Like, they changed like their entire team against Germany in this game. You know, Germany were changing around a lot of players for, let's say, the previous games, and I think this game that we were playing against Italy was a fairly strong lineup. Don't get me wrong, we didn't have, let's say, Gnabry playing, you know, up front as a starter, but an absolutely phenomenal player. You know, he came on around the 64th minute, okay, and he gave 2 assists within 5 minutes, and it's like Werner scored within like 2 minutes as well. Like, that is absolutely insane for like Germany. You know, like the change that they made, and then for them to like score, and they brought an attacker, and then they brought 2 more attackers on afterwards, like Musiala and Mencha, or whoever it is. So no, I'm glad that Germany won, especially with all the games that they were playing previously in these Nations League. They were always dominating. You see like the possession that they had. You know, the positional stats that they had was just always over, like, I think 59% was like what they had. Even like their play style, you could see that they were playing very well, but of course they weren't having their full strong teams for the previous games. But I'm glad that they did play some strong players. Again, like Neuer is fantastic. Like, he's been phenomenal in this Nations League. Like, his ball distribution, like from goalkeeper, for both legs, like right or left, is just absolutely like, his accuracy is phenomenal. And again, one of the best shot stoppers in the world. Like, there was a moment where Italy went through, but they were offside. That's what VAR checked, so he was offside. But of course, the play continued. Then I think somehow it rebounded off the post, and then Neuer saves it off the line. So if he wasn't offside, that would have been a save as a season of, let's say, Nations League. That would have been a top save as such. But no, I think, fantastic team effort from Germany. And no, I'm glad, like the play style that they're playing with. They're playing very similar to how like Liverpool play, with the counter pressing. They've got fantastically fast players as well. Majority of the German team are from Bayern Munich. So you've got the likes of Sane, you've got Gnabry, you've got Müller, you've got Kimmich, you've got Goretzka, you've got so many individuals that are from Bayern Munich. And I'm just worried that, like with Mane now verbally agreeing that he's going to go to Bayern. And of course it was expected over the summer, especially with the decision that he made that he was going to leave. So, that's going to be an insane front line in like Germany as well as the Champions League. So they're going to have Sane on the left, okay? Just imagine this for Bayern Munich next season, okay? So you've got Sane on the left. You've got centre Mane, because Lewandowski is going to go to Barca. Then on the right, you've got Gnabry. And then behind, who is it? Mane. You've got Müller playing like as a cam, centre attacking midfielder. Then you've got Kimmich and Goretzka as midfielders. Like, that on its own, that like lineup is absolutely strong. Like, that is insane. And I think the way that Germany's been playing, as mentioned, like very similar to Liverpool, with the counter-pressing and the counter-attacking type of play, is going to suit Mane right away. And I think that's going to be really, really good to see. I think he's going to, settle in very quickly. He's a very strong forward. And I feel that he'll be more in that centre-forward role than any winger. Because we did see against, like, the teams that he was playing against with Liverpool was just absolutely insane in that central forward position. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully Mane does do well. We've got now Nunes confirmed. So that's an absolutely fantastic signing for Liverpool. He's hopefully going to be settling in well, and of course his play style does suit Liverpool's, and that's what we have with the data analysts and whatnot. Hence why we've always made some really good purchases over this years as such. With like Alisson, Van Dijk, we've got Diaz as well, for example, Thiago's. We've got all of these like really good players, and we've bought them at at a price which is quite high. Don't get me wrong, but they've shown their value, and they've given their value back, which is always the most positive side of things. And yeah, just talking about Italy, really. So again, like Italy did make a lot of changes with the lineup. It was very youthful. They had the likes of like Barella, who's absolutely insane youth player for I think Inter Milan, and he's been how do you say, rumoured for, I think Tottenham, I think, want him as well. Then you got Raspadori, who's a insane like forward as such. You got Bastoni, the centre back, and you got Fratteri, and then Gronto, who's the 18-year-old that scored against Germany, the first Italian goal for them. So, they've got a fantastic youth coming through, but again, they've lost key legendary players as such, like Cellini, who's now moved over to the States, but again retired from international scene. Bonucci, he didn't play, but again, he's aging now as well. So they need to keep utilising the youth as much as possible, and who they feel would be the best, let's say, individuals to go into the international first team. They've got really good youth. It's going to be like maybe in the next 4 or 5 years that these guys are going to mature up to that, that their actual prime, let's say, age. So, Italy will be a force in the next World Cup, I feel, but not in this World Cup. I think they're going for a recuperation, let's say. I think that's the most important thing for Italy. But, overall, as mentioned, in Germany, I'm very glad with the way that they played. They've dominated in the previous games, and yeah, looking forward to more, and let's see how Qatar goes, because at this rate, we are playing very, very dominant football. Like, let's say compared to the likes of, I don't know, France, who are expected to do very well, but they're at the bottom of their table, like literally in the easiest table. But again, they've got hard teams. They got Denmark, they got, who else was it? Austria, they've got Croatia. Like, these are like the hungry category teams that I was talking about, where they're not great teams as such. They've never been great teams, but they're always great in a weird way. Like, they always perform against like good teams. So it's good to see, you know, Denmark at the top of the table in there and France at the bottom. So, you know, that is hilarious. But yeah, guys, and you know, finally moving over to some more transfer, let's say, talk, because my allergies are fucking killing me, mate. That's all I'm saying, man. So with transfer, so I was looking at United again, just seeing what they're looking at. So De Jong, it looks as if, you know, he did give some remarks about potential rumours for United. So let's see what happens with that. I think if United do a bid, I think they will accept it, Barca. I think he's like 90% going to go to United. I think, you know, with the Dutch manager that they have from Ajax, and you know what they've done with Ajax when it was De Jong, the manager, as well as Van de Beek, you know, I think that like lineup will be really good for United. So yeah, let's see what happens. And you got Abraham as well, who had a fantastic season at Roma. Chelsea again having their pants pulled down, especially with a good striker that they needed this season. You know, you got the likes of Werner and Lukaku that did not do anything at all. So yeah, Abraham will be a good purchase for United, so I think that will be a really good buy for them. But no, let's see what happens. And then, of course, talking about Chelsea, you know, Lukaku, our main man, heading over to his best fucking club ever. You know, he's going to get a tattoo of them on his chest, you know, Inter Milan. You know, he bleeds blue and black, so he's one of that, you know, team that he loves. Every time that he goes to a different team, he always kisses like the badge. So I don't know. Let's see what happens after a season at Inter. He's gonna be like, oh, I missed, like, I don't know, United, and he's gonna go back to like United. This guy, man, he's like a suitcase. He just loves going everywhere, man. He doesn't have anywhere to stay. But no, that'll be interesting. And then yeah, finally talking about Phillips as well. So this is the guy that I was talking about yesterday. On yesterday's video, in fact, where I was saying how was it Man City, you know, like rumored to be buying him. And like, I just gave an estimate of the price that I think he's going to be, and I said 50 mil. And I was looking at the news as well. It said that he's going to be, his valuation's around 45 to 50 mil. And I was like, the reason why I knew it was because he's an average player. Like, don't get me wrong, he plays in the international scene, he plays for Leeds, he plays as a very deep box-to-box type player. He's got excellent like stamina and whatever. But I don't rate him as a player, and I think if he does go to Man City, they've got a strong world-class team in literally every single position, so of course he's going to do well. But I do see him playing better in a Man United type of team, because it's just the way that his play style is. I think it's more suited. So yeah, I said 50 mil, so it looks as if 50 mil is the rumoured price. That's very hilarious, so let's see how that goes. But yeah, that's going to be a really interesting buy. But yeah, guys, it's coming towards the end of the video. I do appreciate you guys listening on. You know, we're trying to grow as much as we can, so please do feel to subscribe, as well as share, like, and comment. You know, I do appreciate as much as I can. And yeah, and also for the oldies and goldies, thank you so much as always for sticking by. And yeah, as we look to grow as a team and head to the Pro League in Germany, you know, I do appreciate you guys staying on within the adventure, let's say. So thank you so much and have a good day. Peace and air grease. Bye-bye.
On the ball. If you're wondering about stoppage time, 1 minute to be added on.